Hello everyone, this is Miss Siddiqui here. In this video, we are going to talk about personal narrative essays, as you will be writing your own personal narrative essay for the This I Believe unit. Let's go ahead and get started. So first off, in this video, you'll learn a couple of things. So let's just break down what they are. The first thing is that we will cover the definition of a personal narrative essay. Now that you already know what narrative writing is, this will be like a more detailed version of talking about narrative writing. We'll also talk about some tips for finding material for your personal narrative essay, for your This I Believe essay. And we'll talk about techniques you can use in writing that essay. And we'll talk about the typical structure of a narrative essay that makes it effective. Make sure you take notes in your Digital English Notebook or DEN during this video. So a personal narrative essay is a type of creative nonfiction. Nonfiction meaning real, right? So the purpose of this creative nonfiction is to entertain the reader, but also to share with the reader a universal truth. So typically, personal narrative essays focus on personal experiences. That can include a turning point, a change in direction, or an event or milestone that has significance. Typically, personal narrative essays are found in magazines, literary journals, the newspaper, or human interest radio programs, like the podcasts where This I Believe originated. So let's talk about finding material for your This I Believe essay. We'll start with a quote, which reads, "Every man has within himself the entire human condition," which remarks on this idea that if you have life experiences, these are life experiences that you can share with everybody else, that other people have experienced in some form or another. Meaning that certain experiences are a universal part of growing up and reflect a common experience in the human condition. Additionally, you also have experiences which are completely unique to you, which can offer new insight into the human experience. So you want to find something for your essay, an experience that both has universal meaning and is unique to you or to your perspective. So some types of material include talking about family life, so you can reflect on family, what family events had significant meaning, what you remember about your family life, do you have any family rituals, what do they mean to you? You can talk about any turning points in your life, like loss or illness or disease or death or transitions or first encounters. You can focus on any kind of spiritual journey, like quests, pilgrimages, or religious memories. You can write about particular places. You can write about your home. You can try to define home. Or you can write about travel experiences, like sightseeing, or even about the natural world, like activities like hiking or biking or camping that you may have engaged with. So those are 4 different types of topics you could focus on in your personal narrative essay. 4 more topics you might want to consider are you could write about popular culture, so you could write about film or music or fiction or poetry and how those art forms or popular cultural forms have impacted you. You could write about political memories, important historical or political events that shaped your perspective or your viewpoint. You could write about the world in which you live, particularly relating to the environment, or you can talk about yourself in terms of your coming of age. So write about any milestones or accomplishments or events that significantly changed you and helped you to come of age. So remember, your material for the personal narrative essay should be based on a memory of an event or experience or a moment in time that had significant meaning to you. Your reader will be able to tell if this is not a significant memory. So mine your memory to find out what really was important to you and what stood out. And then the process of writing that narrative will come more naturally if you pick something that you are interested in sharing about and in reflecting on. So your task is really to tell a true story about a turning point in your life that had meaning for you. So let's talk about techniques you can use. Well, you need to set the scene, and you need to provide your reader with the time and place and context of your story, and that should be the backdrop of your story. You also need to include any characterization of the characters in your story, so you, but also other people included in your narrative. And so you can use fictional techniques like dialogue or descriptions of behavior, except this will be clearly a nonfiction piece because it's about your own life. But try to remember the types of things you learned about in terms of characterization, like actions, thoughts, and words to show what characters are like, not tell what characters are like. So you want to use dialogue, and you want to make sure that the point of view that you're using for this personal narrative essay is writing in the first person I. Some other techniques are to control your voice and tone as you write. So you should have an informal voice as though you're having a conversation. So your essay should read kind of naturally, colloquially. It should be sort of friendly and welcoming, very conversational is the tone that you're going for. You want to be very careful with your style and use language that the reader will understand. Try to avoid cliches or very complex like academic jargon. Use sentence variety, so include simple sentences and complex sentences. And try to write in scenes so that it can kind of create a story and a sequence for your reader that makes sense, that is easy to follow. So this kind of connects with the idea of components of a story, so make sure that in your narrative there's an inciting incident, that there are some obstacles in your story that the main character of the story, you, has to overcome. Make sure there's a climax and a turning point, and then also a resolution. The key thing with a This I Believe essay is to remember to show and also tell, but mostly show. So you need concrete and specific details and also vivid descriptions to really transplant your reader into your essay so they can have an idea of what it was like for you to experience that moment. So there are 3 modes of expression that you need to use. So we've kind of talked about needing scenes. So write different scenes and then rewrite them using different types of setting and action and dialogue until you've perfected the scenes so that they flow naturally so that you can see each scene. Also, the This I Believe essay is a shorter type of narrative essay, so you will need to figure out how to summarize kind of complex memories into simple sentences. So you might want to start out by writing a longer essay and then cut down on that to summarize what happened. So in your initial writing process, you can write as much as you want about a particular memory or moment, and then you'll want to summarize that and kind of pick and choose the sentences that are the most salient. And you also want to include, probably towards the end, a personal reflection in your narrative. So include your personal thoughts and feelings and opinions and perspective that resulted as an outcome of the memory or event or turning point. So we're going to talk about the 4-part structure of a personal narrative essay. So all personal narrative essays include a problem. Your goal in your essay is to describe that problem in detail and talk about the situation or the circumstance that led to that problem in the first place. That's the first part of the structure. The second part of the structure is telling your reader about the struggle. So, tell us how this problem created conflict for you, and that conflict could have been external or internal. And then tell us about the specific obstacles or setbacks you had in overcoming that struggle. So that is the second part. The third part emerges from your struggle, and this is your epiphany or your realization from going through the struggle. So the epiphany is some kind of new understanding that you have based on what happened, and the epiphany should transform your story from merely an anecdote, like just a story that you told, to a narrative that has significant meaning to you and that can now have a shared meaning with others. You've now created that universal meaning based on your personal problem and struggle. So that's the third part of a narrative, personal narrative essay. And then the fourth part should be the resolution. What have you done differently since you had the epiphany? And this can also include kind of an extension of the epiphany, like what did you learn, what do you hope to do in the future, not necessarily just evidence of what you have done differently. So that is the fourth part of the personal narrative structure. So to review, there are 4 parts. You need to have a problem, a struggle, an epiphany, and a resolution in your This I Believe essay. So in sum, writing your personal narrative essay is about being subjective, that means talking about yourself and your feelings, and sharing a personal point of view about a significant event or personal experience or moment in time. So in reading your This I Believe essay, your reader should expect you to share your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, your personal reflections, and most importantly, what you believe. So this concludes the video on writing your personal narrative essay. If you want to take a moment to make sure that you've answered all of the questions in your digital English notebook pertaining to this video, you should go ahead and pause. And then once you've done that, you can just X out of the video. Thanks for watching.